Greetings, viewers. I'm very happy to meet you again and meet our master, Efrén López. This time we talk about a very important subject about the sound quality. Having the expert who plays many instruments, had an exposure to many kinds of musics, and the sound engineering background and many instruments. So with this, we will have a very great discussion today about what is it really that matters for a sound quality, the sound of music. Hi, Efren.
Hello again, Fadel, and thank you for having me here. Very, very happy
Yeah,
to share this time with you again
thank
for
you
third
very much.
time.
Yeah, this is Nadi, so we meet the same experts again and again because we have too many things to discuss.
Mhm.
So, Efren, let's start about the concept of the sound in the music. What is the sound in music? Why are we so sensitive about maybe irrelevant matters nowadays?
You mean like when we choose a new instrument or arrangements or anything, no?
Yeah, yeah. Too many things that really comes like a question. Maybe
Yeah,
the string, maybe the instrument,
yeah,
maybe
yeah.
the recording.
Yes,
What's going
yeah.
on?
This is a very wide question, of course, and it needs a wide answer as well. Because you know what, as you mentioned, I usually record my own music, play it, and also mix it. So when somebody asks you, uh, I know sometimes people believes that this song sounds very nice because you bought a wood from that maker, no, and it's
Mm,
partially true, but of course there are many components, no, that create this chain of events that
mhm,
take the instrument, the sound from the hand of the instrument to the ear of the listener, and
mhm,
everything counts, really. Every single detail counts. So we have to be careful when choosing everything which is in this path from my hand to your ears. It
mhm.
so it it uh, everything matters, really. I mean, from the risha or pick you use,
Mm,
which material, if it's soft or hard, or the shape,
mm,
the string, then the instrument. Of course, the instrument is the most, for us as musicians, the instrument is like our, I mean, the picture of our music, no, the
mhm.
embodiment of your music sometimes. So it's
Yeah.
a big. So also in the instrument, no, which woods you use, which size of, with length, which length of strings, which tuning. Then
Mhm.
next step is the room. Where do you record your music or perform it?
Yes.
Then the microphone that captures the sound. Then
Mm,
I mean, and all these things really, all they matter. And this is something that you learn with experience, I think, really.
yes.
And if you are able to control, uh, to some extent, because there are some factors that are beyond our possibilities to control. But if you
Yes.
can control all this and you decide, no, and have a criteria why I
Mhm.
use this peak and the other, why I record in a living room, or in a, in a palace hall, or
Mhm.
in a concert hall. So all these different steps add some sound quality to your music.
Yes.
And we
Excellent.
are, yeah, so all this are things that you have to understand how they
Mhm.
shape your music, no,
Mm,
from the smallest detail to the and of course your way of playing, because we are all able to play in many different ways the same piece of music,
mm,
like softer, more rhythmical, with more attack, with also to be able to control that, to decide with consciously, I want to play this piece in that manner. it,
mm.
it will also add some expression to your music. So the ultimate goal for me is to visualize, no, one sound that you want to create one day and be able to reach it. Because I mean, it's not always easy or possible. Sometimes
Mm.
it's even better that you imagine initially. Sometimes
Yeah.
is different but also beautiful, and sometimes
Mm.
is a failure. We have to to face that, no. But I mean, all these steps make a record interesting, or faithful to your initial goal, no? Yeah.
Interesting. So this is a great introduction, actually. Hopefully, the audience is not scared and maybe they say, "Oh, I'm going into more complications." Basically, the objective of this review is to make sure that what we are concerned about is really something that is worth it, rather
Mhm,
than focusing on things that don't add value to the quality of music. I would start with the way we imagine the sound today,
mhm,
right? We are living in today's environment.
mhm,
We are seeing a music everywhere. Maybe you describe the perception that we grow with, we get raised with,
yeah, yeah.
Efrén. Yeah.
Yes. Um, I'm very, very careful with
Mm,
with what I listen to, because
mhm,
I have this
mm,
this thing, no, that for me is really, I mean, because I'm a sound engineer and producer, and I trained myself to listen really carefully, recordings and live music also.
mm,
Then you become too sensitive sometimes to that, no? So when you are in the, in the bus or in the metro or in a shopping mall or something like that, and they are playing music that you don't like, that is the 99.99 percent of the times,
yes.
for me it's really difficult to avoid that, to not to listen to that, no. So I
Mhm,
always wear my earplugs whenever I travel, so I can protect myself. but
mm,
but but this is because I train myself in that way, no, because I
mm,
understood that it's really important for me to dig into the sound, no, to
mm,
understand why I like more that instrument than the other, or that player rather than the other.
mhm,
So, and this is a training that everybody should have, every musician. I think we mentioned that in another interview, the
mhm,
the, the art of listening to music, not only as a musician, I mean, not only as the emotion that a given melody can create, but also as a sound quality, to try to discern, for example, different ways of playing the same instrument. No, you can. I do it for myself. I create this playlist, YouTube playlist with a different, or Spotify or anything or whatever,
mm,
with different players playing the same instruments. No, and you can, I mean, from a foreigner's ear, I mean, foreign in terms
mm,
of somebody that is new to a given kind of music, everything sounds the same, no? Everything sounds the
mhm,
same. Even Arabic music or Turkish, everything is the same, or Persian, it might sound the same, but then you go deeper and deeper, and you understand that there are many different nuances in the different players, no?
yeah.
And this is a very good training. For example, I'm now listening about. I was just thinking about Persian tambour, the Persian tambour, right?
Mm,
The Kurdish Persian tambour.
mhm,
This instrument, I love that instrument, that its simplicity and how different it can sound, no, in the hands of different masters, all of them being really good players, but
mhm,
how different qualities of sound this instrument can have. So to identify all those different nuances, and to understand which ones are closer to what you want, is really, really important. And it takes time, really. It takes time and focus. You have to really focus on really, really small details. And I have noticed that, although for example, we are talking also about oud. I'm playing oud
mhm,
since many years now, but there are
mhm,
still, to this day, some details that I might, how to say, neglect or something. Sometimes I don't I take things for granted that are
mm,
not always there, no. And sometimes another colleague can tell me, this wood sounds more bright than the other, or more aggressive, or I don't like the sustain that it has, or it sounds too dry. And it's things that you maybe, yeah, take for
mhm,
granted, and you don't think about them anymore, because, for example, the instrument was made by a great master, great woodmaker. But even
mhm,
in those cases, there are some nuances that yeah, I mean, even from different good makers, you can take like totally different sound colors, no,
Mm-hmm.
from different instruments, and this is uh, yeah, something that we should train also
Yes.
for. No? I mean, not only like playing scales or playing learning repertoire, but also learning how to listen them. I mean, I think the best musicians are the best listeners also, no, because especially in the styles of music that we love, that implies they imply a lot of improvisation, no, ornaments
Mm-hmm.
and interaction. You have to really train yourself to listen to everything that is happening on stage,
Mm-hmm.
you know, from your instrument to other instrument. And I'm very sensitive to that, so it's also, it can be a bit hard to live like that,
Yeah.
because you get very paranoid sometimes, no, with what you like, what you don't like. Yeah,
Exactly. We try to get into the barrier of what is okay to worry about versus the other as we talk in
yeah.
this interview. But talking about learning, friend, uh, I think there are things that we need to unlearn. For example, having all sorts of synthesizers,
Mhm,
electronic instruments, all sorts of production of sound, timbered scales.
mhm.
I think sometimes if we move from one music to another, we have to learn or unlearn few things, right? Including the sound quality and the sound image in my mind.
Absolutely, yeah.
Mm,
Every style of music might have it's aesthetics, no? And
mm,
aesthetics are not only about, you know, intervals or scales or makam or any. It's also fashion, a fashion
mm,
to mix the instruments. Which instruments are more relevant? Which instruments are maybe more like a secondary to, you know, and which quality of music is more required for a given style of music.
mm,
That's why we, I usually play really with a very wide um,
mm,
variety of music styles. So
mm,
I realized that, no, what is supposed to be good for my rubab master, the Usada Ujan, for example, as a sound, no, and
mm,
maybe for another musician that comes with from a, you know, totally different background, it can be something totally different, no, with
mm,
for example, Daoud Khan, my teacher, rubab, he doesn't like very low pitch instruments like double
mm,
bass, or because really never existed in this African tradition, no.
mm,
So it's something like really foreign to that kind of music. I mean, this concept of harmony, or not even harmony, but even very low sounding instruments. So for him, and I can understand this very well because I played for a few years with him, and it's true
mm,
that in that context, it's like something like totally alien, that is like disturbing your attention, you know,
mm.
from the point which is the pure melody, the very clean melody of the rubab. and and,
Yeah.
and and if you introduce this layer of for example, a double bass, or it creates another dimension that
Mm,
sometimes is like crashing,
mm,
no, with the melody, for example, no?
mm.
While in other styles of music, it can be very welcome, no, this very low frequencies, or a very deep bendir, or things like
Yeah.
that. And
Mm,
even in the same instrument, for example, the oud, no, I mean,
mm,
again, going back to the oud, the oud is played, you know, from everywhere from Morocco to the east of Iran. I mean, all this
mm,
area, and of course
mm.
the Arab world. And how I mean, the oud for me is not anymore an instrument. It's like saying guitar. I mean, guitar,
Mm,
you can play so many styles with a guitar, no, I mean, jazz, flamenco, classical, and all them share the same instrument basically. But of course, you
yeah,
need like different approaches to the
yeah.
instrument, how to build it in order to serve the the demands of different styles of music. For example, with the oud, I think it happens the same.
Mm,
Some people will prefer a more resonant instrument with a lot of sustain, because they
mm,
prefer to play like a more, I don't know, Turkish percev, or very elegant music, very with slow pace, slow tempo. So you need very, I mean, notes that last a lot, and have this more muddy sound. But if you are
Yeah.
gonna play Yemenite music, no, from Yemen, which is very rhythmical, you need
Mm,
a much drier sound and maybe louder also, louder,
mhm,
no, and with more attack.
mm,
And probably the wood that you will choose for one of style of music will not work for the other. No, it happens to me all the time because I have several woods from these different makers from Turkey, Iran, and Lebanon.
mm,
And they I mean, one wood can be really perfect for one kind of job,
mm.
and the next day you are playing with another band, and it's a total disaster, no. And it doesn't mean that they are bad instruments at all. They are all them excellent, no. But they
Yeah.
you need different purpose. And nowadays it's not like, I don't know, 100 years ago, that usually you will play one specific tradition and
Mm,
you will stay there, no, for the most of your life. Of course, people used to be very creative in that time also, but you won't fly, from in the same week to three different countries to play with a German band, and then an Afghan band, and then a Italian band. No, I mean,
mm.
so that's why nowadays we are more picky in this sense. No, because we need more. We are really demanding. I mean,
Yeah.
from the instruments, we really need very specific features, no, for from each instrument. Yeah.
Mhm. Now, talking about instruments, let's talk about the perfect instrument and then talk about, for example, taking the oud as an example or something else.
Mm.
Let's talk about what is a perfect instrument. Let's talk about standardization, which is a subject that we always bring it up in any
Yeah, yeah.
debate. And let's go on in this direction.
In my homeland here in Valencia, in the east coast of Spain, I have a very good example of this standardization thing, no? Because
Mm,
and some friends told me that same thing happened, in Iran, Turkey, and many other places in the world. We had this kind of little guitar that we,
mm,
we call guitarro here in Valencia. It's a very little guitar that we use like in a very rhythmical way. You play some
mm,
chords, but with a very fast right hand strokes, trrrr, like this, no?
mm, mm,
This is a very humble instrument, that people used to play in the serenades in the streets. Um, and only in my area, like 150 years ago, we had like 200 types of this instrument. 200 types, meaning that different size, different number of strings, from 3 strings, 5, 6, double strings, single string, triple string, even
mm,
sometimes. Materials also, gut strings, metal strings. I mean, all kinds of different tunings. So
mm,
somebody was classifying all these instruments, no, and found that, yeah, nearly 200 different types.
mm.
Nowadays we have two types only, you know, after this standardization. And this
Mm,
for me I understand why they did it. No, it has to be with political issues and cultural, no, because yeah, people were connecting more with each other, no, and traveling more. So you need to standardize things because the tuning and blah blah. But it's
mhm,
a pity. I mean, and the same thing happened in Turkey, for example, with the saz, with the baglama,
mm,
and and but happily, I can
mm,
feel that a lot of people everywhere, actually, because this is happening here in the east coast of Spain. I have a very
mm,
close friend of mine that he's going, from house to house, from all houses, collecting like all instruments that nobody cares about anymore. They are hanging on the wall, or even
mm,
worse, like throw like garbage. And
mm,
he's like studying them all and finding that they are not that, I mean, that bad at all. I mean, people
mm,
maybe didn't understand at the time how actually good they were. And he's just offering these instruments to local musicians with like giving a lot of options, no, of different tunings, colors, like tonal qualities, and so
mm,
on. And the same thing I feel is happening in Turkey, for example.
mm,
We were talking the other day about that. I was
mm,
I spent some periods in Turkey studying this balama or saz.
Mm-hmm.
And as a foreigner, I this story was also very familiar to me.
Mm,
The story of this instrument, no? Because I was studying with Errol Parlak, this balama master, and also I did some workshops with Dale Zinjan, Erkan Oğur as well, and Mehmet Erenler. All them really top masters, but with a very different styles.
mm-hmm.
Style of playing also, the size of the instrument they play is different. The context where those instruments are used are different as well.
Mm-hmm.
But what I could realize from as a foreigner was this standardization also of the balama, no, during the, I think, the 80s, 90s of the previous century, they start to standardize. So you will go to the shops, and all will look the same, good
Mm-hmm.
instruments and everything, but kind of a bit boring in the sense of
Mm-hmm.
yeah, losing some. They were losing. I was feeling some personality, and
Mm-hmm.
character.
Yeah.
And yeah, and now, since I don't know, maybe 15, 20, or even less maybe years, I see some of these big masters going back to traditions that maybe for some decades were considered to be like old fashioned, or not interesting anymore, no, or maybe
Mm,
limiting
yeah.
versions of this instrument, no, with less
Mm-hmm.
strings, or things like that. And they did a great job, especially these three masters, Errales Ninjan, Errol Parlak, and Arif Sa. They
Mm,
were collecting, not only instruments, but also different techniques of how
yeah.
the balama was played in all over the country, which is
Mm-hmm.
very, very rich, no? Because Turkey is a really big country with many,
Mm,
many different cultures in it, no? Many
mm-hmm.
different cultures, many different religious minorities or languages, and so on. So every one of these groups have their own music, no? From the Aegean coast to Ankara, or to the Black Sea, to the Kurdish, no? I mean, all them have
Mm,
different makams, also different techniques. So they were collecting
mm,
all these compound of uh,
mm.
of traditions,
Yeah.
and creating a kind of mixture of all those techniques. What they call shelpe, for example, is very impressive, no?
Mm,
Is this technique with fingers. You don't play with the mizrab, with the tezene, the,
mm,
the pick, but with your fingers. And it's a very impressive, because it's a very, very virtuoso style of
mm-hmm.
playing, but it's actually based on
Mm-hmm.
traditional techniques. And they were collecting at the same time all sort of instruments.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a conversation with Erkan Oğur, one of these teachers. I really love this man. For example, if you allow me, I would suggest to you to interview him. I think he
Mm-hmm.
has a lot of really interesting things to say.
For
And
sure.
when I first met him, no, I knew him already, his music, and we met a few times in his after some of his concerts in Istanbul. But the first time I had the opportunity to study with him, he saw my instrument that was actually made by Stelios Petrakis, that you know probably.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And he told me, "Wow, it's a very nice looking instrument. Is really well done and well made, very elegant and very beautiful, but it has some mistakes that could be improved."
Mm,
And in a very humble way, like just really wanting to help us. So we
mm-hmm.
went, the three of us, Stelios Petrakis, me, and Erkan Oğur, to have a dinner together. And he was driving for us in the, how you say in English, this paper you put on the table, no, for
Yes.
them.
Yes.
He was driving, drawing for us,
Mm,
like a kind of sketch of the ideal corpus, as they call it. No, is
yes.
the old way of building the SAS.
Mm,
And he said us that he told us that, you know he discovered that in many old instruments, all the proportions, the the distances of the length of strings, and the length on not only the playing string, but the length from the nut to the tuning peg, everything was had some proportion,
Mm.
nothing was nothing was like randomly
Random.
done. No, 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 not
Mm.
at all. And so that will give you a lot of extra resonance, kind of having like kind of sympathetic strings actually,
Yeah.
and some small tricks that even, I mean, these instruments I actually is here. I'm talking about it, but this exact instrument.
Yes.
So yeah, all everything really counts, no, for the sound. Everything matters.
Hmm.
And he was telling these proportions that he had found, no, like he's also a very very smart guy. So he understood that these shepherds and villagers were not stupid at all. I mean, because
Mm.
sometimes from the cities, from an urban culture, you some people think that okay, they are from the mountains, they have no idea, no, but actually these people knew how to build instruments. They
Hmm.
maybe the finish was not super perfect, no, because they didn't have the tools, but they knew how to make an instrument, no.
Hmm.
And so I learned a lot from these meetings, no, with people.
Mm.
And nowadays I see that wave of many young players in Turkey, going back to some really beautiful traditions of playing and building instruments, even that
Mhm.
were in danger somehow, no, because nobody was building instruments in that way. I don't know about the wood, but I know also that there are now many different ways to build woods, no, and is being less and less standardized, which I find positive, no, and I'm very
Yeah.
happy for that. Yeah,
Mm. Is this instrument in tune now?
I know. I Yes.
Wow.
More or less. It's not perfect, but more or less.
Very nice.
We can listen maybe something recorded with this instrument later if you want.
Yeah, sure, sure,
Yeah,
will do. Yeah.
yeah.
What about examples of what you have mentioned, like the old style versus the new style? Would you suggest anything we listen to with our
Yeah, we
audience?
can listen to some recordings, even from the
Mm.
same people, like playing different, like big, not me, but real masters like from Turkey that have this ability, to play like very very complicated music that really you have to be like kind of athlete of
Yeah,
music, to play that. But also they have this sensitivity to play very apparently simple music, but it's not simple at all. I mean, you need
yeah.
to be like, and I like that really really a lot, and Elcano is also one of these examples because he's
Mm.
playing, he's a very accomplished guitarist. He can play jazz really well, like Western music. But when
Mhm.
he went kind of back to the roots in the sense of playing very minimalistic music somehow, no, and this minimalistic instrument, which has only three single strings,
Mhm.
but he created a totally new actually aesthetics and way to approach Turkish music. And now
Mm.
there are a lot of productions in Turkey that sound totally integrated into the Turkish tradition. But actually Erkan was the one that, in my opinion, the one who created that sound. It's incredible, no?
Mm.
How one single person can influence so deeply one given tradition, no? And he's a very
Mm.
good example. And combining exactly, these two worlds, like because he also plays sometimes some harmony, like more like Western harmony, but
Mhm.
combining it with the most simple and simplistic and minimalistic approach to Turkish music. And I think this is only real genius can do that, no.
Mhm.
Yeah,
So we will listen to you playing this instrument,
yeah,
and we
yeah.
will listen to two examples, an example of a virtuosic performance by the same musician,
Yeah,
then going back to the minimalist, impactful music.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Çeke çeke ben bu dertten ölürüm. Seversen Ali'yi değme yarama. Ali'nin yoluna canım veririm. Seversen Ali değme yaramayı. Seversen Ali değme yara. Ali'nin yoluna serim veririm. Seversen Ali değme yaramayı. Seversen Ali değme yara. Yurt senin değil, konar göçersin. Körpe kuzulardan nasıl geçersin? Ali'nin dolusun, bir gün içersin. Seversen Ali değme yaramayı. Seversen Ali değme yara. Ali'nin dolusun, bir gün içersin. Seversen Ali değme yaramayı. Seversen Ali değme yara. kanavdan deftere yazar. Hilebaz yarına olur mu pazar? Dost merhem çalmazsa yaralar azar. Seversen Ali değme yarama. Seversen Ali değme yara. Merhem çalmazsa yaralar azar. Seversen Ali değme yarama. Seversen Ali değme yara.
Ben hayatımda bu kadar güzel bağlama çalan, özür dilerim, beni bağışlasınlar. Ya Erda, dağıttın bizi ya. Muhteşemsin. Kocaman alkışlar alır. Abi,
Bravo.
birçok üstad var, hepsi çok kıymetli ama ben böyle bir şey yok ya. Neyse, dağıldım ben.
Gül yüzlü sultanım beni ağlatma. Aşığın ağlatma gar değil midir? Yüreğimi aşk oduna dağlatma. Şu sinemde yananlar değil midir dost? Yüreğimi aşk oduna dağlatmayın. Şu sinemde yananlar değil midir dost? Ela gözlüm kapınızdan kesilmem. Şura bulup her ayağa basılmam. Garip Mansur gibi dara asılmayın. Zülfün teli bana dar değil midir dost? Garip Mansur gibi dara asılmayın. Zülfün teli bana dar değil midir dost? Dostun muhabbeti derun dilden, alem bir yan olsa vazgeçmem senden. Dedim dostum niçin kaçarsın benden? Dert iken tel sana kul değil midir? Dost, dost, dost. Dedim dostum niçin kaçarsın benden? Dert iken tel sana kul değil midir? Dost. Hı hı.
Efren, thank you very much for the example selected. Now, continuing into the subject of instrument, there are certain aspects, for example, selection of strings, which is a big subject. If it is a pluck instrument, bows for bowed instruments, mouthpieces, the type of instrument, if it is a fragile one, durable one, how durable, for how long,
Yeah.
strong, humble, and so on. Let's talk about this aspect of the selection, or yeah.
You know, I'm very lucky with the string subject,
Mm-hmm.
strings, music strings subject,
Mm-hmm.
because here in Spain, we have in Madrid, we have a shop, and there is a woman that works there, Marianne.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm buying strings from her since more than 25 years, I think, really. And she's married to a very good also luthier, like instrument maker, and they have this little shop in Madrid
Mm-hmm.
where they sell only music books, like about the history of music, also about early music, and strings only. So every time I go to Madrid, you know, I go there and spend a lot of money, as much as I have, because it's
Yeah.
like a kind of paradise for me. And this woman really, she knows better the strings that I use better than me, really, because since many years I'm ordering the strings I use for nearly all my instruments, and she's very well organized, so she has like this, you know, document, like every time I ask her for, you know, I need oud strings. Yeah, but which oud? Because you have 7 ouds, one is from that maker. I mean, she knows better than me everything, no? And thanks to her, I got to try really every single material, new material, no, over the years. And again, I mean, not I think really it's a kind of, I mean, you spend a lot of time doing that, but it's really worth to do it. I mean, like choosing what strings work better for each instrument, and not even each instrument only, but each situation. Because I mean, if you want to be picky, there is no limit really. It's a very it's a kind of hard, as you mentioned before, also where to put the limit. No, okay,
Yes.
this is good enough, because also psychologically this can be a trap, really. No, because I mean, we if you are this kind of person that victimize yourself a lot, and you know, you can spend all your life finding that, you know, you don't play well because of this kind of string,
Yeah.
or and this is also a trap. So I try to avoid this kind of thoughts. Okay, I try to do the best I can to find the best solutions. We are always in contact, no, with colleagues, musicians. We pass a lot of information to each other, and it's very nice. I really like this spirit, no, of my friends, players, or other. And we are always in contact, you know, because new materials emerge. So you call each other, hey, there is this builder that found, or this no, company that create a new material. There is this guy, Italian guy, Mimo Perufo. He has this company called Aquila strings in Italy.
Yeah.
You know, he discovered this material that he calls Nile gut, which is like an imitation of gut strings, but using nylon. So
Yes.
the nylon is he produces is not anymore one fiber of nylon as we used to use in the woods and so on, but he builds nylon strings, but in the same way that gut strings are made, which is like really very thin fibers that you kind of tie together and then rectify, and 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 he got really close to the sound of the gut without the limitations of the real gut strings, no, which are they break easily, they are not stable with and for musicians like me that are traveling all the time, really it will be a nightmare. It would be just not possible to travel with instruments that are not really solid, no, and
Yeah.
including the material of the strings. So for example, this guy, when he appeared, he saved he saved us so many travels and hours and hours of tuning,
Yeah.
so I
Yes.
never met him in person, but I really want to just shake his hand and say and then thank you from the bottom of my heart, really, because and the same thing happens with all the instruments, no, and
Yes.
and the same thing. I mean, I have done a lot of tests because, as you know, I like to record myself all the time, and I mean, what makes an instrument good? It has to do a lot with the use to give to it. I mean,
Mm.
you might just play one. You might just want to play at home, sometimes just for fun for yourself, or
Mm.
you play. I don't know. Usually, you play mostly like acoustic concerts without any amplification. For example, I play a lot of early music, like medieval music, Renaissance, and so on. And the most of the times we play without any amplification. So in that context, volume is really important. How loud your
Yeah.
instrument is.
Mm.
That for example, I play also a lot with microphones. So in that
Mm.
context, maybe the loudness of an instrument is not that important anymore. But
Yeah.
the timbre is more important, or how clean the bass are, the bass frequencies are. This is for example particularly important with the oud, I think, because
Mm.
all the for me the substance, the richness of the oud is in the bass frequencies.
Yeah.
But sometimes one oud that sounds really well when you play alone or in an acoustic environment, it gets really muddy and messy, when you just put the microphone in front. I have some of the, and it's a physics phenomenon that I can't explain really. I have some
Mm.
woods that, as you get close to the microphone, not even playing one note, they start to have this brrr feedback, no, which is horrible. You can't really use
Yeah.
them in concert unless you cut all the bass frequencies, which is a crime, really. I mean,
Yeah.
the oud doesn't sound like as an oud anymore. So
Mm.
this oud, I don't use it for concerts with amplification. So this is also, it has to do also with the strings, for example, no, which some strings are brighter, some strings are others are darker or have more resonance. Also, the tension is something that we choose, no, all the time.
Mm.
I mean, you can have this the exact same material, but and the exact same tuning, but you might prefer more tension
Mm.
than other players. Even depending on the instrument, I play so the fretless guitar, the fretless like acoustic classical guitar,
Mm.
and for this instrument, for example, I play with a very very low tension, very
Mm.
really low. So
Mm.
I need like thinner strings,
Yeah.
and the instrument is not loud at all. It's really really quiet.
Mm.
But I have a pickup that I found that works really really well mixed with the microphone. So everything counts, as we say in the beginning.
Yeah.
And yeah, Um, yeah, material is very important for the strings. Now happily, we have plenty of brands to choose, and all the calibers and everything. So it's much easier than, I don't know, 20 years ago.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Talking
Yes.
about victimizing selves.
Yes.
Okay. Again, for the plug type, the way we cut it, how thick, the way we hold it,
Yes.
the
Also,
mouthpiece.
here I have maybe, probably, yes. Yes. I don't have a lot here. I have another. I can show you later if you want.
Yeah.
But I have many types here, because really, also, I mean, personally, because as you said before, I try to play different instruments.
Mhm.
Um, I'm not too attached to one specific way of playing. For example,
Mhm.
I like to learn, like, from different styles. Lately, I'm really digging into Yemenite oud. No, I really like it,
Mm.
and it's so
Mhm.
different to what I have learned in Turkey, for example. That for me really is
Mhm.
like playing another a different instrument, really.
Yes.
So for that playing, you need a different. Yes, here I have more sample. So
Mhm.
I have from very soft ones, this many Turkish players use this kind of picks,
Mhm.
for example, for the
Yeah.
for the, and they are really really soft. And many, for example, many Arab players that I know, they really don't want even to see them, because they don't like it. And I understand why.
Mm.
But for me, they help sometimes for some specific sound,
Mm.
especially when I play solo, for example, for a taksim. If I want to play in a very sensitive way, and without the need of a lot of attack, because I don't need to go to compete, or to fight with other instruments.
Yeah.
Imagine that you are playing with a darbuka, reg, kanun.
Yeah.
Then probably you need to sound more with more attack. So I use these ones, which are a bit harder. Those are
Mhm.
from Sala Music, from Istanbul.
Yeah.
And much harder. Also, the shape is very important, because we always talk about how hard and or soft pick is, but the shape is so important. The angle,
Yeah.
everything, everything really. Paranoia starts from from the region. No? This is kind of
Yes.
medium. This is made from this very good friend of mine, Ramazan Jalai, an excellent
Mhm.
woodmaker from Istanbul. And it's like kind of its signature
Mm.
mishap, as they call it, and it's kind of in the middle. So
Yeah.
for the Turkish, I mean, I know Turkish players
Yeah.
that play with all kinds of uh, of picks, but this one is kind of the average,
Yeah.
and I use them a lot for the Turkish instruments.
Mhm.
But then I have a Lebanese instrument, for example, oud, that
Mm.
really, if you play with these picks, I mean, you don't get any sound. It's like totally is horrible. So I
Yeah.
need like very very also
Mm.
wide picks, and very very hard. And I
Mhm.
like I have even horn, like the old style.
Yeah.
uh,
Mm.
for the lauto, for example, the Cretan lauto, we use these picks, like double.
Mm.
And I have
Yes.
tried also sometimes with oud, and it sounds interesting, because
Mm.
actually I don't know, you
Yeah.
hit the
Yes.
the string not with a straight thing like this,
Yes.
but with a round thing. So they are very very hard, but you are cursing the string somehow. It's very interesting.
Yes.
So
Yes.
all these counts. And so what I do, I try to keep my mind open,
Mm.
and just listen. I play with it. I try to get used to every one of them, and
Mhm.
record myself. Every time I receive a new instrument, or picks, or strings, or whatever, I record it, because for me it's a way to listen from outside, which is very difficult, no? We are so in our little world, little bubble when we play that it's sometimes hard to listen from outside. And also I like to do like blind tests with friends. Now these days I'm finishing a production with Aras Salek. I don't know if you ever interview him. You know who
Yes,
he is,
yes. Yeah,
no?
yeah, yes.
Yeah,
He's playing guitar, our friend, yeah.
exactly. And
And
he
maybe we
has,
mentioned the pluck as well of that
yeah,
song. Yeah.
yeah. And I'm playing. He has written a whole album of his
Mm.
compositions, which are fantastic. Because maybe I don't know if it's relevant to explain it here, but
Go ahead.
I feel really proud of participating in this album, because he was very puzzled about, he's from Iran, and we
Yeah.
have this makam that is one of the most famous makams in the Arab world and Turkey, Nihaven or Nahawan, which is a
Yes.
city, in Iran. And
Yes.
he was asking himself why we don't have this makam anymore. And it's not mentioned even in in the dasgah or gushe, nothing.
Yes.
It doesn't exist as a word in as a term
Mm.
in Persian music. So he had this brilliant idea, in my opinion, which is to write as an Iranian in the Makam Nahawan. I mean, how an Iranian can understand nowadays, which is very proficient and very skilled in Persian classical music. How can he understand uh, this Makam, no, from his point of view? And he creates something
Interesting.
very very unique that I think it sounds still very very Iranian in my opinion, but it has, of course, somehow the taste of Nahawan, but from a totally different point of view, and it's so refreshing, no? Because it's one
Yeah.
of the makams that we know. How many taksims in Nahawan we have listened in our life, thousands
Mm.
of them, no?
Yes.
And it's very very so I was doing the production with him of this work, and also playing there wood. And just a few days ago, because he asked me to play a taksim in one of the pieces, and I was really very, like shaking, because really big masters are playing in that album, So okay, you have to do something which is interesting, but also that matches the aesthetics of the whole thing. And
Yeah.
I sent him like two different woods. I mean, I
Mm.
just play a few phrases, like
Yeah.
Nahawan phrases, with
Yes.
two or three, I think three different woods, to send
Mm.
him which one he likes the most, no? And for me, I mean, for the most of the time in my life, I played more what we call now Turkish wood. I really,
Mm.
really don't like to call it Turkish or Arabic, because for me they are all different variations of the same basic instrument. But anyway, I
Yeah.
was playing different instruments, and just for really, I try to keep flexible, to be flexible, and be able to play more or less in the same with the same proficiency and easiness is yeah ease from this with the same ease any
Mm.
instrument that I have in my hands. So I
Mm-hmm.
send it to him, and he choose actually the Lebanese instrument, no?
Ah,
Which is
okay.
because it's more bright. I don't know. But actually for me was the most for me is the less comfortable too. So it's a very nice instrument. I'm very happy with it. But I'm playing in the rest of the album. I was playing more Iranian wood. This small shape
Yeah. Yes.
instrument. Uh, and because it's more like softer to play, and and I can be more expressive with this instrument. But okay, he
Mm.
chose that one, and it was nice not to have this
Mm.
blind test, because he was really choosing it considering only the sound, the pure sound.
Yeah.
And it was not me, because probably if I would choose it, I would choose the easiest one.
Yes.
So and I really like to push myself to play instruments that are not that comfortable, because I
Mm-hmm.
think also you can express different. I like when I don't know. I
Mm.
think everybody likes when when you feel the struggle of the musician, not in a bad way, but that's
New
why
challenge.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's why we like, I think, also sometimes difficult passages or something that not nobody can play. Only a few
Yeah.
can play. We appreciate that.
Yes.
No, it's a part. I mean, it means that this man or this woman really love this music. They really work hard to get the diamond. No, the
Yes.
treasure. So we appreciate that, even
Mm.
unconsciously, even if you don't know what how the process went. No, so I was
Mhm.
okay. I will play the taksim with this instrument, and
Uh-huh.
even though for me is the less comfortable to play. No, but okay, it's again an amazing instrument, and no problem. So I will record it probably tomorrow. By the way,
When are we expecting this album?
I think is actually they are Aras is waiting for me to finish the mixing, which is almost ready, and some little touches here and there, but it's
Mm.
almost ready. It's very interesting, really. I think for all our community of people that like all these styles of music, is one
Yeah.
step more in this. Also, Ross, we mention this all the time with Ross Daily.
Mm.
How beautiful will be that? Of course, it's really nice to preserve the identity, of all these
Yeah.
traditions. I really support this idea,
Yeah.
but it shouldn't be that foreign to it shouldn't sound so foreign for a Turkish musician to listen music from Yemen or Kuwait or the opposite. No, I mean
Yeah.
we should be more aware, at least, no,
Yes.
of what is going on, because we have so many things to learn from each other, no, because
Mhm.
otherwise what happens is that we only, I mean, sorry for including myself in that part of the world. I'm not although
Why not?
I'm not from there. uh, otherwise, when we want to explore other horizons, we have only, the music that is more commercial, which is pop music, jazz,
Yeah.
rock, which is fine also, but it's a pity, that we are always taking from these musics that are really foreign to these kind of languages, and we are
Yeah.
not taking from each other, no, which we are really close to each other, no. So
Yeah.
it's for me it was always a pity, no, and
Actually, in the old days, Efren, sorry to cut you here.
no,
In
no,
the
it's
old days, in the court time, or where big musicians met each other from different
all the
places,
time, all the time, all the
we
time.
have seen the repertoire of the
Yeah,
Ottoman. It was not
exactly.
limited to a certain type of
Of
music.
course, of course. I mean,
This treasure of music came because of all these scholars and
yeah.
people aware of each other, working with each other, and take it to other big cities, right?
Even though they didn't
Interesting.
have any communicate, I mean, this easy
No
communication that we
travel, no
have. Yeah.
records.
For anybody interested in this part of the music history, which is, I think, is really really important to know, like you and me. I mean, it's
Mm,
obvious, no, when you read books about history of music, Arab musicians playing in Herat or Indian musicians playing in Herat was
yeah.
the most normal thing in the world. I mean, and the opposite, no, and was totally accepted, and nobody would mention it because it was normal, no.
Yes.
In that in all these writings from Cantemir, no, from the Prince Cantemir, for example, he
Yeah.
never mentions. He just says, okay, he has these compositions that he calls Hindular, like from the Indians, no, but
Yes.
actually he wrote them as their music too. I mean, he was
Yes.
transcribing probably melodies that he listened to from Indian musicians, but as a part of the big picture of music,
Yeah. The
not as a
Makam
for
family.
yeah.
Interesting. So we have learned a lot of lessons now, talking about the instruments. Really, you have said which music am I playing? What's the purpose? That will dictate the sound, the instrument, the strings, where to put a limit, recording yourself to rediscover the quality rather than living in a bubble of maybe
Mhm,
pseudo feeling of the sound. The same time doing the blind test. Too many lessons we are learning
mhm.
from this, really, which should put a barrier of, okay, this is good enough. The criteria of good enough, right?
yeah.
And not to forget to congrat Araz really for this experimentation and
I think, I hope,
yourself as well
yeah,
because
yeah.
of the participation of such experience.
No,
Yeah,
actually also Pedram Habazamin is participating in that album that you interview also.
interesting.
I watch, so it's like a, as a dream come true for me. But
Yeah,
I think it's a really brave move, and I hope other similar projects follow it. No, from it's happening. I think right now a lot.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
happening all the time, and I'm really happy to witness that. No.
Interesting. Congrats to all of you, actually. And to conclude on the subject of instruments, so these purposes will dictate aspects of being fragile, durable, an instrument that lasts for centuries, or maybe not belittling an instrument, saying, "Oh, this is a very humble instrument. I don't
You
need
know,
it."
this thing of durability also is an interesting thing, but because
Yeah.
it was not always uh, how to say, a condition of being a good instrument. For example, there we have in Spain
Mm,
this instrument called vihuela, which is like kind of ancient guitar, like the grandmother of the guitar.
mm,
And the makers, and it happens also, I think, with the Renaissance lute, because one particular characteristic of the instrument is the very thin soundboard,
mm,
really thin, like extremely thin. It's like almost like paper,
mm,
So from the day that the maker makes the instrument, he knows that is not gonna last a lot. I
mm.
mean, you will have like some uh, deformation, no,
Yeah.
of the bridge, because but the instruments are already prepared for that, no. I mean,
Mm,
then you can kind of do a kind of surgery, which is
mm.
cutting the back of the instrument, doing this kind of inclination,
Slicing.
yeah,
Mm.
like angle, giving angle,
Yeah.
so you can the instrument can be played for, maybe 5 more or 10 years, but it has an end somehow.
Hmm.
Also the Turkish tambour is something like that. The Turkish Ottoman classical
Yeah.
tambour. The soundboard is also very thin. It's a part of, because we don't have any sound holes or
Yes.
anything. It's actually very simple in this way, in a sense. The soundboard is really thin. So actually, when I first wanted to buy this instrument, because my oud teacher actually recommended me to take some tambour lessons to understand the
Mm.
Turkish makam, the intervals and so on. So I went to the shop to find a good instrument, and I saw that all the soundboards of the instruments were like this. I was, wow, they are horrible instruments, and they are really badly made, no. But they understood that it's a feature actually of the instrument, because they are made of wood, but actually they act as skin almost, no, because they are so thin
Mm.
that only the pressure of the strings on the bridge give them this how to say in English, yeah, curve or
Mm.
something.
Curve. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
So also with the Turkish tambour, I mean, you have to replace the soundboard after some years. For other
Mm.
instruments are much more solid, no? Like for example, guitars can be played for years, no? But
Mm.
and also woods, I think, no. I have this friend in Thessaloniki, in Greece, north of Greece, Tassos, who
Mm.
who repairs. His specialty is to buy all Arabic woods or Turkish, and
Mm.
and rebuild them somehow,
Mm.
or fix them.
Mm.
And yeah, you can play instruments that are 150 years old so perfectly, no. I mean, but not in every instrument this means that it's a better instrument, and sometimes to make them more durable,
Yeah.
you have to sacrifice also some sound quality,
Mm.
some overtones, some harmonics, or something, because you need like thicker soundboard that might affect the sound also. So it's always a matter of balance,
Yeah,
Yeah.
trade-offs. And some instruments by nature, like the Afghan rabab or
Yeah.
whatever, right? This is the nature of being fragile, actually, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
The
For example,
quality of sound. Yeah.
yeah, here I don't know if I mentioned this story in previous interviews, but it's quite interesting, no? Because
Mm,
here in Spain, in actually in my area of Valencia, we have like many ruba players, because
mm,
I start to play this instrument, and many of my friends fell in love with it, so I start to trade somehow with the friends that Afghan friends that live in Istanbul, and they will find all instruments for us and to be repaired, because at the time was not allowed to play them. So it was really easy, really hard to find instruments.
mhm,
Um and two of my students at the time became really good at repairing them.
mm,
uh, Javier Gonzalez, for example, he repaired the instruments of Rose and my instruments, and many others. And but we had this conversation many times, no, because they
mm,
were always too. It's in their nature. I mean, they are these two guys, Javier and Juan. They are really wanting to develop this instrument, no, and to make it the perfect rhubarb, no. And but sometimes, in my opinion, they go too far,
mm,
and they start to sacrifice features of the instrument that to me are capital, are really important.
mm,
And like trying other materials, rather than natural skin, they try like synthetic skin. But personally it never worked, no. I'm really in love with the instrument as it is,
mhm,
and I was feeling that, okay, I don't want to change anything. I just want to what this instrument is to get the best, but I don't want to change anything. And for example, the ruab is quite fragile in the sense of, we use skin for the soundboard.
mhm.
So if you play next to the sea or something, it happened to me a few times. You are invited to in a festival that happens next to the sea. You are almost sure that that night your performance will not be the best. But I really prefer to sacrifice, these two or three concerts, and have a hard time there playing, but keeping the this original sound that I fell in love with like many years ago. So, because
Mm,
I still have the memory, of how magic it was in the beginning. So I don't want to change that, really. Okay,
mm,
there are some practical things, no, the tuning pegs to function well, or the strings to find the best ones. But about the structure of the instrument, I don't want to change anything, really. And even if
mhm,
if it's sometimes hard to play because the action is too high or something, okay, the action is too high if you compare it with a classical guitar, no, which they play really complicated harmonies and stuff. They really need to be like butter, really like super soft. But with the
yeah.
rhubarb, actually the traditional way to play it is quite loud,
Mm,
and kind of. It's not simple at all. I don't want to use this
mm,
this word, but we don't play harmonies, or we don't skip strings like very quickly or something like that. So you don't really need the same action that you need in a classical Western guitar or a Turkish oud, for example. That usually the action is very low. So also to compare instruments, I think it's not a good idea. No, to compare it's like
mm.
comparing people. No, I mean,
Yes.
I mean, I'm who I am, and of course I try to be the best friend I can, as you try to be the best Fadil you can. But I don't need to be Fadil, to enjoy.
Yeah.
I don't want to be like you. I enjoy to be with you, because I like you as a friend or
Mm,
whatever. So the same thing with the instruments. I think it's important to understand that each instrument has a context, no, and was built, was shaped after a tradition that is very
and for a
specific.
purpose.
Yeah, exactly. And this is very
Mm,
important. And this is
mm,
also something that happened a lot in many countries, no, like having as a model the Western music, for example.
mm.
This is an anecdote and maybe a funny thing. For example, with Turkish balama,
Yeah.
we have this Turkish balama. And in the guitars, in the acoustic guitars or even classical, we put these dots, no dots in
Yeah.
the third, fifth, seventh, ninth, and 12th fret,
Mhm.
just because you don't have any reference. I mean, all the frets are the same, and from
Mm.
behind sometimes it's hard to to play the right chord or something.
Mm.
So sometimes we put on the side these little dots, very discreet, just to, so they start to put these dots on the baglamas
Mm.
on the fretboard, no.
Yeah.
I never understood that, no, and I no I asked to some to s- I never understood why, and this is very important to ask yourself why all the time, as a musician, as a maker, as a player, why you do so nobody could give me a solid answer to that, no, and
Mm.
for me it's clear that was just an imitation of the guitar, but really is not needed at all in the balama.
Mm.
Why is not needed? Because first of all, in the first lesson of balama, a good teacher will tell you, if you see your fretboard, it means that you are playing wrong, because you hold the instrument like this. I can, okay, this is not exactly, okay, this is like a buzouk, but for this example, it's the same
Mm.
actually. I
Yeah.
mean, I don't play like this, I seeing the fretboard. I play like this. So my reference actually the perde, the frets, no? And
Yes.
because we don't have like equal temperate frets, this is already our reference,
Mhm.
no? We don't need at all
Yes.
this. And actually the dots in this 90s balamas were here.
Mhm.
So the player never sees them, It's a
Yeah.
totally nonsense. But they were using that because I don't know, maybe they thought that because the guitar has it, we have to. So why? But okay, the guitar is perfect for what it is, but and the balama as well. Or for example, this mechanic tuning pegs in
Yeah.
the balama that I never understood why, because the balama is really well. I mean, a traditional instrument is really well built,
Mm.
and they work really well. I mean, if you know how to, this is the thing, you need to know how to tune an instrument, no?
Yes.
What are the tricks, and if the simple, traditional tuning pegs are well made, it's totally, it doesn't make any sense to replace them with these mechanic things that actually are worst. For example, we
Mhm.
have also Western example, the violin. You play the
Mm.
violin, actually. You know about that. We
Mm.
we are using the same tuning pegs since 1,000 years, and
Yes.
nobody had the urge or the need to replace them with the mechanicals, because they work
Mm.
well for this instrument if they are well made. So same thing
Mm.
happens with these instruments, and yeah, and I think it's also uh, how to say, um, a result, no, or a result
Yeah.
of this fascination sometimes with the Western instruments. They are amazing for what they are made. A piano, no,
Yeah.
is an incredible machine, no, or the hardegard,
Yeah.
the instrument I play, which is crazy, no, how they
Mm.
could find this idea, no, but they
Yes.
are perfect for what they are. We don't need to imitate them for other styles of music, or not
Yeah.
all them. Some, maybe we can take some ideas, but only if there is a good reason. So why the why is the question we have to ask ourselves all
Exactly.
the time.
Like not going for a cheap innovation. We call it
Yeah, yeah,
innovation or
yeah, yeah,
creativity
yeah. Which
for
is
no
not.
purpose.
Yeah, yeah, for
Yeah.
no. Exactly.
I do remember you told me once about Dawood Khan in
Yeah,
classes of Afghan Rabab, where
yeah, yeah,
he sits with every student and tune their instruments for many hours
yeah.
himself,
Yeah, no,
right?
this was he does it also, but this was the first, actually my first contact with the Afghan Rubab, which was in Hudetsi in Labyrinth,
Yes.
Crete,
Yes.
with Ustad Mohammed Rahim Hussein was. He
Ah.
he passed away sadly many years ago already, and he was the first Afghan music teacher, Rubab teacher that Ross invited, like I think
Mm.
20 more than 20 years ago.
Mm.
And so he was a very special person, really. And he was a proper example of of not being a paranoid with your instrument, because
Exactly.
he will play with the same happiness any instrument. I mean, in
Mm,
the classroom we were maybe, I don't know, 15 or 20 students. So he will pick one by one all the instruments of every student and tune them,
mm,
you know. And he was never complain. Maybe okay, he might say, this key is not working for this sympathetic string or whatever, but only in very extreme cases. The rest of the times he was just playing very happily any instrument, and really, really, I was shocked for that
mm,
by that. Every one of them kind of sounded similar. I mean, there was
mm.
a very strong personality in his playing, that really this is what we have to aim to, no?
Exactly.
To find our voice, regardless the instrument we're playing. Okay, maybe some of the things I said already are kind of might sound kind of contradictory, no? Because I'm
Mm,
very picky at the same time of but
yeah,
we have to be aware also now that the main thing is our playing, no? Or
yeah.
and very important. I mean, especially when we are improvising, we are telling things all the time. So first of all, maybe this goes more philosophical rather than.
It's
But
actually practical.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But we need to have something to say. It's very amazing.
Mm,
I mean, if you are a
exactly.
writer, if you are a writer and you want to write a book, you can't say, yes, today, it's Friday and I woke up and I drink coffee and then, okay, who's gonna be interested in this book? No, I mean, everybody can write that, no, because
Mm,
there's no poetry, there's no metaphors, there's no smart uh, phrases or something. So with
mm,
music is the same. I mean, at the end of the day, what matters the most is to have something to say, so something essential. So, and if you
mm,
have something to say and you hold, in the case of this Ustad Mohammed Rahim Husnawaz, he had this knowledge, very, very deep. So really,
mm.
he can play, music with anything. I'm sure you will give him a guitar and it will sound 200% Afghan, because he had this tradition in his breathing. No, he was
This
breathing
is
this
a
music.
this is
Yeah,
a big lesson learned to all of
yeah,
us,
yeah,
really.
yeah. So
Yeah,
when you
because
see,
this is a real experiment, right?
yeah, 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 and when
Mm,
you see that two, three, four times, then you understand. Okay, this is what it is, no? And you start to relax a bit, no? And because also I'm a producer, so I spend a lot of time with musicians that are struggling, no? Because when you are recording, it's like a really kind of a trial by fire for many musicians. I mean, you 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 try to give your best in a very specific moment. I mean, now we are recording. Now you have to give the 100%, and all your fears, all your insecurities, you know come to the
mm,
surface there.
yeah.
And so I really like to observe musicians in these conditions, because it's a part also of being a producer. I mean, to be a good producer doesn't mean only that you know all the buttons, all the microphones, and all. It's also to treat
Software.
well. Yeah, yeah, to treat
Mm,
well the instruments, to make them feel comfortable. I understood that this is a big, 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 big part. And also I even in modern music, some of the top producers are people that are not especially good at even at music now.
mm,
Sometimes all they do is to make musicians feel really comfortable, and leave the things flow, really, and they do
mm,
really very little related to actual music. Isn't very interesting, and
mm,
but at the same time they are considered to be great producers, no? Because so all this is to say that also to feel relaxed, and to feel that to 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 sometimes to clear your mind about all these thoughts of no, but this thing here is a bit high, and this fret. I mean, if you want excuses to play bad, you
yeah.
can find millions. I mean, I mean, the most. There are millions. I mean, today's too hot. It's too late. I'm a bit tired. Yesterday I had an argument with a friend, and I feel a bit down today. Or the instrument, the strings are too high or too low. I mean, all these things can make your music sound bad. But if
Yeah.
you succumb to them, if you surrender to them, you are lost, really.
And
So
here we miss the point, right? They
yeah,
miss the
yeah,
point. Instead
yeah, yeah,
of practicing, knowing what to say, what
yeah,
to
yeah.
express, work
And
on the good stuff, huh?
yeah, yes, exactly. And many of these people that really inspired me in this sense, like this Afghan Ustad, also my other Ustad Dawood Khan Zadozai, which whom I studied many more
Mm,
years, have this somehow simple approach. Is
mm,
is is very complex, like, but in the surface sounds like very simple, no? Because it's very
mm,
straightforward, and they know very well what they want, of course. I'm not saying the opposite, but it's quite kind of okay. Let's go to work. I mean, let's play music. Let's forget how cold it is outside, or how many people came to the concert, or how few people, or I mean, all the external
factors.
variables. Yeah, yeah,
Mm,
factors, and let's
mm,
give our best. No, because also this is even beyond music. I mean, it's life tips, no,
mm.
that you
Yeah.
understand with experience, is that you should not be worried about things that you can't control, and there are
Mm,
so many factors that you can't control in a performance, in a live performance. It's very easy to say, of course, but it's not
yeah.
that easy to apply to your life. But when it comes to choosing an instrument, or to learning, the learning process, all these things are really really important to realize, to be aware of that. Okay, even if you
Mm,
sometimes feel insecure, or I had incredibly hard moments as a musician, in the sense of
yeah.
having to play in front of really 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 big masters, that you in Crete, in Hudetsi, it happened when we had the golden years of Hudetsi, when we had this festival, the Hudetsi festival. No, I don't know
Yeah.
if you came to any of them, but we had, you would play every night in the festival,
Mm,
and sometimes you will have in front of you your Daltok Chan, Erkan Oğur, Deria Turkan, Ross Daly, all the big Daud Khan, the big masters, like sitting there, well, listen to your music, no, and it's so hard, no, to focus there and to relax, because okay, you are what you are, and you know, and give your best without having this. I mean, a bit
mm,
of tension is good. I feel it gives you this spark, no, that you need to
mm.
to give your best, but it can be overwhelming, no, sometimes. So
But that's the thing. That's the way we learn, right?
yeah, 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 yeah.
Living it.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. And
Yeah.
that's why also I like to involve myself in different different styles of music. Also, you learn, and also not only different style of music, but also different ways to work. Because this is
Mm,
also, I mean, they can even within the same, field of music, but the ways to work can be. There's some people that like to rehearse a little bit only, and but previously they send you, scores and a very clear arrangement, so they expect from you to come to the first rehearsal already very prepared, and to play
mhm.
really well the first. So the rehearsals are not to learn the pieces, or to, no, it's just,
Yeah.
you know s some people work like this, and you have to respect that, you if you want to be in the. Then other people is more like, okay, let's gather, and let's see what happens, no. Also, in some traditions, as you probably know, they don't even rehearse, because the repertoire is so, I mean, everybody knows the repertoire and the style and everything, so you don't really need to rehearse. You just say, okay, let's play now that piece. Okay, from re, from do, from where. Okay, let's go, and you just play, But it can happen only when you are really into one given tradition, which is not my case. So I
Mhm.
need previous work and this. But it's
This makes you richer.
yeah. And
Yeah.
sometimes to struggle really hard because you need to keep your personality. I mean, to keep being who you are, but at the same time
Mm.
be flexible enough to fit in all those different
Yeah.
contexts. No?
One last thing about instruments, where we are judgmental and we have judgments right away on this instrument or that. Maybe we take the example of the hurdy-gurdy, which you
Yeah,
play,
yeah,
and which is a very complex
yeah,
instrument. Yeah.
yeah. In For this specific instrument, is also very interesting the evolution of this instrument. No, over
Mm.
the only the few decades, like three, maximum 4 decades, because it has medieval origins.
Mm.
Uh, uh, and even at that time it was already like quite complex. No, you have maybe we can watch a video or something where
We'll
it plays
do.
so people can understand how it functions.
Mm.
Uh, but the thing is during I would say maybe 30 last years, it the evolution was very exponential. It's
Mm.
exponential. No? It's a very Western European instrument. I mean, it was developed apparently in this area of the world, and now it's an instrument by its nature is already like very for this kind of people that really like to experiment with machines and is already very attractive because it's a machine really. It's a very old one
Mm.
but it's a machine, so people
Mechanical machine.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So
Mm.
a lot of people wanted to go beyond, no, to
Mm.
go further, because of course, I mean, if you listen to recordings of the 60s and 70s, it had a lot of limitations in the
Mm.
in the tuning and the intonation and sound wise also the balance because between the strings because we have three sets of strings like
Mm.
bordons drones like they keep
Yeah.
this fixed note like very low tuning
Yeah.
and fixed. So and then you have the melody strings where
Mhm.
you play the melodies with using a keyboard, and
Mm.
then a third set of strings that we call the trumpet, which
Yeah.
with which you play the rhythm, the
Yes.
rhythm. It's very characteristic, and also
With
the balance.
handle.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
the balance between these three set of strings was an issue from the old times,
Mm.
and there was this maker in Austria. I always forget his name. Weissenbauer or
Mm.
something like that. Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he was a very innovative one. He opened kind of a new path for this instrument, and now
Mm.
and he introduced many new innovations that they became like the standard from then on, no? And now
Mhm.
it makes a, but now in my opinion they developed like two or maybe three totally different instruments, and I have
Mm.
instruments from I don't want to get married with only one type of them, because I mean I have this the newest I have, which I bought in 2015, which is literally
Mm.
like is incredible. It's really like a machine. It's like a like a very sophisticated one. So you can
Yeah.
play really everything. You can do dynamics. It has a very warm, very round timbre. Also, you
Mm.
can play. You can mix it with many different styles of music.
Mm.
While the oldest instruments are usually very harsh, very high pitch, and very loud and noisy, and you can play like less dynamics in general. Of course, you can
Mm.
fix them to play different styles, but what I mean with that is that for me, I have like three different instruments, like one medieval, one more like baroque instrument, and one modern one. And
Mm.
and although we call them all like hurdy-gurdy or with other names, but in
Mm.
English we call it hurdy-gurdy. For me, they are like they have a totally different use, and they are some people just want to play the modern instruments, the
Mm.
modern type ones. But I'm happy also with the very primitive ones. We use gut strings
Mm.
for that older models. A very simplistic instrument, but I like also this. No, I like everything. I mean, I like to have the tool. You know, in
Mm.
instrument in English means tool. I mean,
Yes.
is a as a as a is a as a
Mhm.
etymologically it means tool. So instruments are just tools, are colors to add to your music, no? And if you know
Mhm.
the technique of the instrument, which is the hardest thing to achieve, the technique, then why not to have, a very primitive sounding instrument and also a very gentle, very elegant one. I mean,
Mm.
they both have can find their place in your music, no? And I use them both equally, and I don't find that one is better than the other, no? I, I
Yeah.
like I like strong personalities in general, also in people. I like when people is
Mm.
has a are special, no? Even if you don't agree with them all the time, but have something unique to say, no?
Character.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Unicity, I think, is
Mhm.
very important in art, I think.
Interesting. Now, the case of hurdy-gurdy, where, for example, somebody will say, this instrument is maybe not good at all, I need to replace it.
Uh-huh.
Then it comes to your hands, Efren, you fix something. Then all of a sudden, the worst instrument became the best.
Yeah, especially with that instrument because when I bought my first hurdy-gurdy, I was the only player in all my area. We are a few
Mm.
millions of people. I know maybe 4 millions. I don't even know. But imagine that I was the only player in all that area, and there
Mm.
was no internet, so I didn't know a very important and big part of playing this instrument, which is how to fix it, how to tune it. It's really complex, all this part of being a hurdy player. So for the first 2 years or so, I
Mm.
have it at home, like I will put it on my sofa, no, and watching it for a long time, just
Yeah.
think how beautiful it is, no. But as I will start to play it, it sounded like two cats fighting. Really, it was really not a pleasant sound,
Yeah.
So a very important part of being a good hardware player is also to know very well how to fix it. No, but I think
Mm.
it's the same thing for many instruments. No,
Exactly.
I mean, the instrument. Okay, when the maker gives it to you is just the beginning. No, but then you can adapt it to yourself by choosing different strings, fixing the high. I mean, to adapt it to your needs. No,
Mm.
and it happened to me not okay a few years ago, but is the last robot I bought actually.
Mm.
I was giving a workshop here
Mm.
in my place, and somebody had a robot to sell.
Mm.
For, so he was hesitating if to buy it or not. I mean, he had it already, but was just to to test it for a few days and to decide if buying it or not.
Mm.
And he was playing it. I was listening to it, and it was okay. It sounds nice, but he was complaining all the time about all kinds of things. The strings are too high, the breeze, blah blah blah. And so I was with all the students. Maybe we were, I know, 7 or 8, and they were playing all the instrument, no, passing it to each other, trying it,
Mm.
and also finding finding always no things to say about the bad things to say
Yeah.
about the instrument. No,
Yes.
so when it take right to my hands, I was okay. I don't need to even to try it. I will buy it. And
Yeah.
everybody was in shock. Wow, because I was teaching the instrument that
Yeah.
for me it was okay. It was not perfect at the time, but I could see the possibilities. But this is also a matter of experience. Maybe because they were not that experienced, they
Mm.
couldn't understand what was the potential. Okay, maybe it was not the best condition for that instrument, but with a little bit of work and a direction, you can get something from. And actually, since then, is my main rhubarb. I have few of them in different tunings, but this is the one I play the most, and I'm so happy. I never even have any doubt. I never regret to buy it, and 100% satisfied.
Exactly. So here, one of the things is the experience or the image about what is the sound or the quality or the way we perceive the sound in that particular repertoire or culture or the way it
Yeah,
expresses itself
yeah,
or the
exactly.
music behind. Without it, I mean, how do we judge things?
Yeah, I mean, this anticipation of this ability to imagine things that
Mm,
are not here yet. For example,
mm,
in terms of sound is very, very important. I think in
yes.
my case, I got it from working as a producer. Is you are dealing all the time with that, because
Yes.
to being a producer, besides everything that I said already, a
Mm,
big part of it is to take decisions all the time very quickly.
mm,
Which tempo, that one or this one or that one. Okay, which key? You have to very, very fast mentally to evaluate, all the different
mm,
possibilities, and 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 try to find which one is the best.
mhm.
So this is a very important skill in a producer, but I think in every musician actually.
Exactly.
And I get along better with musicians that are like this, that have a vision of what they want, because otherwise it can take ages, to make a production or set a repertoire. It can be really, really hard, and it's not. I mean, it can happen to everybody, in certain
Yeah.
conditions, but it's a skill that you can improve. No, it's like a muscle. No, you can work
Mm,
on it and make it stronger. This thing of
interesting.
imagining something that is not here yet, and also to know the way to get there. No,
Interesting. I think we need to take a break. We need to listen to you play the hurdy-gurdy and also the rabab.
great.
Yeah, we'll choose two of the recordings of Efren
Perfect,
playing
perfect.
both instruments. Not at
Okay,
the
let's.
same time. I think he can do it.
I have a good story
Yeah,
about that.
yeah,
A good
yeah.
picture.
Okay, we'll listen to them and then we go back to the story then.
Okay.
Interesting. Do you want to have a break?
Maybe just 2 minutes to
Sure,
drink some water.
sure. I
Okay?
think we finished half of the thing, or maybe,
Perfect. Perfect.
yeah. Please don't forget the story.
Yeah, no, it's funny. It's a funny. It's actually I mean, one could write a whole book about how to fly with instruments, which is a very important subject.
Okay,
Okay,
please go
see you
ahead.
in 5 minutes. Okay.
Yeah, I am here.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm here. You can just let me know. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
che voca serhelini che la germa ve
So thank you very much for sharing these recordings, friend. Now
My
we
pleasure.
are ready for the story.
So it's a funny one, I think, I hope, and really is a topic that we could make a not a 3 hours interview 3 hour interview, but a 11-hour interview with this, because it's about how to fly with instruments, not being a professional touring musician, because it's a when you put together in a restaurant 5 or 6 musicians, always the conversation will lead at some point to the topic flying with instruments, flying.
Yes, yes.
How hard it became over the last decades. And I have this story because I what I do, because the most of the times when I fly, I buy at ecstasy, they call it, no? For those that are not musicians, you buy your ticket, your seat, and then the next seat is for your instrument, for your music instrument.
Yes.
So, but you are allowed to carry only one instrument in that seat. But what I
Yes.
do, because my instruments are smaller, usually the extra seat is for cello players, for example, or bigger instrument players. But I fly with this more, like rhubarb, oud, hurdy-gurdy. So the most of the times, what I do, I have this a huge bag, soft bag, and I put inside 2 instruments. They fit
Yes.
perfectly, and they are even smaller than a cello. Even being 2 instruments, they are 2. But sometimes they are very, very strict with that. You are allowed to carry only one instrument, but actually, it's a fact that it doesn't matter. It's okay. It's a bag that I put there. It's still smaller than a cello, so it doesn't bother anybody, or it's not a risk, or it doesn't represent a risk, or or anything. So
It doesn't
I
have a
find
battery.
it,
It
no,
doesn't
no,
have a Wi-Fi.
no. So I find it no, I find it
Yeah.
okay. So I
Yes.
was I was passing through the control. I had the hurdy-gurdy and the rhubarb in the same soft case
Together.
inside.
Yes.
Yeah. So if you don't open it, you can believe that it's just one instrument, no? So I'm passing the control, and the bag was a bit too big to pass the scanner, no? Through the
Yes.
scanner. So the guy asked me to open it and to take out the instruments. He didn't care, if there were 2 instruments or 5. It was just a matter of practical matter, because it didn't fit through
Yeah.
the scanner. So I open it, and I take out the 2 instruments, and in the next in the next scanner there was a worker from Ryanair, this company, uh, and she was actually in the counter when I was checking in. So she saw that they have 2 instruments in the same soft case, and she was like very worried, no, and very strict. No, but you are not allowed to fly with 2 instruments. And I had to become really an actor in just 1 second, no, and and be very, very serious and very, acting really.
Yeah.
And it was,
Yeah.
yes, I know what are the rules, no, what's the problem? No, but you have 2 instruments. It was, which 2 instruments? Ah, yes, you mean these 2 parts of the same instrument. I was telling you, no, this is a instrument that is too big to fit in the seat, so you can split it into 2 parts, and then afterwards you mount it before the concert, and it's just one instrument.
Yeah.
And because they both look very weird for a flight attendant, she was like, okay, sorry, sir. So I so she really believed that, no, that the hurdy-gurdy and rhubarb together are one instrument, no. And I was thinking,
Hopefully they don't watch this interview and they go to the same airport.
Exactly. Yes. No, but I have many tricks. I have many tricks to share with the. Maybe for another interview we can talk only about that. Many tricks that sometimes they work and
Yeah.
help musicians to travel without feeling that they are criminals. No? Because nowadays, unfortunately, this is what happens. Yeah.
Interesting. Efren, not to forget about other instruments. We talked about string instruments, also the wind instruments and the mouthpiece and all sorts of things. Not to forget the usul instruments, the
Yeah. The
rhythms.
rhythm. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Again, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Yes. I'm not a percussionist, but actually, the fact that, especially the last years, I start to play percussion in my
Mhm.
own albums, and not because I don't know good percussionists. I know some of I mean, all my favorite instruments, percussionists
Mm.
are my friends actually.
Yeah.
Uh, uh, but the thing is that first of all, I enjoy a lot, and I think really that it's something that every musician should do. I mean, when you play a melodic instrument or sing, we should have everybody like some notions of rhythm, no? And
Mm.
because when you play percussion, you have to be even more accurate that rhythmically than playing if you play a nai or a violin or any melodic
Mm.
instrument, no? Because you
Yeah.
when you play one note in your violin, you can be more around the rhythm, and sometimes it's even beautiful, no, to not be play super exact, but a bit late or a bit
Mhm.
rushing a little bit. Sometimes can add some emotion, but when you
Yeah.
are percussionist, you have to be super precise, no? And I think it's
Mm.
a very good training for any musician. I really recommend that also in my workshops when I teach like what we call music group or music composition. The first day is only usul, only rhythm.
Mm.
Nobody plays one note. Only everybody plays percussion, no matter which what's your main instrument. So
Mm.
that's why I became. I'm not a percussionist at all because I don't have a very high technique, but I really appreciate percussion.
Mm.
I like many of the songs I wrote in my life began as a percussion rhythm, no, as a
Mm.
usul or as a special pattern that I enjoy, so inspires me a lot. And
Mm.
also another factor that made me play more and more percussion in my albums is actually the sound quality of percussion.
Mm.
Because many one day, I woke up, I realized that I was choosing very carefully wherever I travel in the world, even to your country. I
Mhm.
bought some bandiers here and there, and wherever I go, I always try to find good percussion instruments, like sometimes very simple ones, but that they have some special quality.
Mm.
And without even wanting it or realizing it, I go to collect a very nice collection of very good sounding drums, no.
Mm.
And I'm sure that this happened because of my condition, my profession also as a sound engineer, no, because I mean,
Mm.
even the best percussionist, I mean, so not all percussionists have this awareness, as it happens with oud players or balama players or whatever. I
Yeah.
mean, not every musician has this awareness, this search for
Mm.
different sounds, for example, that every piece require, no. So nowadays I have a nice collection of good sounding instruments and very different sounding instruments. So even when I'm producing a song, I might try, like, 4 or 5 different bendirs to see which one, because they are very organic instruments, no, they're made of skin, and they have some imperfections sometimes, some overtones, or that might be totally different from one instrument to another, or different
Mhm.
attack, or anything. So it's I in my experience, sometimes you simply, I mean, you are mixing one track, one song, and you feel that something is missing, no, and there is
Yeah.
no punch in the rhythm, or there is no clarity. And sometimes you are trying, struggling, and sometimes you just change the percussion instrument, You just delete the one you have and you record a new one, which is can be the same instrument, even I mean not a bendir, but another one, no, from another maker or another country.
Yeah.
And you just change this little detail, and suddenly every instrument finds its place. And really, sometimes it's magic. It happened really, actually a few times. I mean, to 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 not being able to to place instruments in their in the panoramics of, or in the picture, in the sonic picture, and just you
Yeah.
change one of the elements, and suddenly everything is like clean, no, super clean, very audible, very matching really well. So that's why I start to to play percussion. And actually the last album I mixed like 3 or 4 days ago, my is a one of my projects. Maybe we can listen also one of
Yeah.
the songs. Is called cabra. It means goat in Spain, in Spanish. And it's a we play just folk music from Spain and Portugal, using mostly like local instruments, like not too much, open. I really wanted to have this as an experiment, not to see what we can do using only the instruments we have in this area, no. Although, okay,
Interesting.
so I sometimes use, one Turkish instrument here and there, or blah blah, but the 99% of the instruments are just instruments that you can find it either in Spain or Portugal. And a lot of I use a lot of drums, different drums. And yes, I realized that, no, how important is, even they are very humble instruments, the most of them, no, these drums, they are very cheap and handmade, but they can really add a lot to our music, no. And of
Interesting.
course, we of course I like to play kudum in the classical Turkish music, and these long usuls is something that is really fascinating for me, to how to try to be very precise, while no, you have a orchestra playing the melody, and you have to be very focused, and at the same time not listening to anybody. You have to go straight forward, straight, no, and but at the same time being aware, no, of what's going on around you, and it's very fascinating for me.
Interesting. I would recall the Kudum playing in the Ayin, Hound Ayin
Yeah,
by Christos
yeah,
Burbas.
exactly.
But
Yeah.
before we continue our discussion, let's listen to the Cabra.
Oh, great.
Thank you very much.
Dale Dios a aquel que quiere a mí de show me este pandeiro que toco ya de peche yo lo vecha ayer verano no monte persona que retumpecha ayer verano no monte persona que retumpecha vale más una bandera con una saya de estopa que una sandana maruja vestida de buena ropa que una sandana maruja vestida de buena ropa que me canso de tocar este pandero que lo tiro voy tirando por el suelo que lo tiro voy tirando por el suelo es igual que la nieve que cae de arriba no lo digo por blanca digo por fría niña digo por fría mi corazón está recibo con la nevisca niña con la nevisca quiero tener niña blanca de la flornilla.
Efren, I think talking about the imagined sound in our mind and the thing that drives the quality and the decision about instruments, the way we play, the way we produce sound and we express. Let's remember the 78 discs, the old days albums, all sorts of things that we listened to back then from the start of the technology of recording to what we have today everywhere in the elevators, on the waiting lines, in the metro, and the loudspeakers, supermarkets. Let's go like pick examples and talk about the sound quality and the imagined sound.
How the technology, right, affected
the technology and the way we perceive and accept a sound as an excellent quality sound or a model sound to follow.
Yeah. You mentioned this all recordings of seven. I mean, imagine now a young man, no, that starts to listen music. How he or she will perceive this music. No, it's full of noises and I mean, it's very dirty actually, very very dirty. What I appreciate in this music is not the sound quality mostly, but the playing, no? Because as we said before, I think before the public interview actually, imagine how good you had to be at the time, no? I'm reading these days an old book that I lost many years ago, and I reading it again these days. It's fascinating.
Can we see it?
Yeah, it's actually I have it here.
Yeah.
This one. Timothy Day is the writer.
Yes.
And it's about the history of the technology, no? And not only the technology of recording music, but how the musicians will adapt themselves to the new technology, all the time. And it's still happening now actually, because since the arrival of compact disc, we didn't have any noises, no, the sound was crystal clean and very very I mean, what you will record in the studio will be the same that the listener can listen at home, right? But still it's evolving, no, because now we have this social media that is really, for me, is really putting in danger a lot of the nuances of this music that we love, no? Because
Mm.
it pushes you to play in a way that is very flashy. I mean, you need to catch the attention
Mm.
of people very quickly, because otherwise they are when
Walk
they're
away.
yeah, exactly.
Mm.
Because I mean, nobody's listening. Not nobody. I don't like to talk like that, because it's not true. And actually, your audience is not like this at all.
Yeah.
But I mean, the mainstream, the tendency is to, and we have a lot of it's like a bombing, no, of stimuli everywhere, from
Mm.
everywhere, telling us, look at me, listen to me, listen to me. So it's really
Mm.
it's really hard to get focused in what you want really to listen, no?
Mm.
And so we are still adapting, or learning how to adapt ourselves
Mm.
without compromising our music too much. But it's interesting to watch at the history of music recording, to see how the limitations, no, i- of time, for example, in the early
Mm.
stages, was so important. I mean, I'm listening, reading this book, and it's fascinating, no, how to see, for example, they will record symphonies, whole symphonies, no, of like Western classical music in 50 albums. I mean,
Mm.
they will record it, like, section by section, and will sell the collection, which was like 50 discs, no, 50. Imagine,
Mm.
one
Yeah.
symphony or something. And also
Mm.
the but I think really, for example, I had this conversation, I don't know who, with a Turkish friend, and
Mm.
and we were listening to all recordings, no, enjoying, Taburi Jamil Bey, Taksims, and all this. But we have always to be aware that at the time was impossible to play the way we play now. Because, for example, now,
Mm.
if you want to play a very minimalistic and atmospheric taksim, you play one note, you wait for 5 seconds, you play the next note and next phrase, and then you do 7 modulations, go back to the root makam. You can do all these things.
Mm.
There's no limits. But back then, no. I mean, they
Mm.
had to concentrate the taksim in 2 minutes, maybe, you know
Mm.
and play quite fast and quite loud, actually. I mean, the,
Yes.
the the dynamic range was really, really small. We can't imagine.
Mm.
So the minimum volume that you were allowed to play was already very high. It was
Mm.
very narrow, no? And
Mm.
so this might distortion distort,
Mm.
so somehow,
Yeah.
the way they used to play, because probably it was much more relaxed and more
Mm.
less aggressive, maybe. Who knows, no? Because
Mm.
I mean, if you see how was the technology, they were they will need literally to play inside this bell, I don't know how they call it, this gramophone
Yes.
inside. I mean, to be heard,
Mhm.
especially instruments like oud, no, which is not always very loud. I mean,
Mm.
and just and even in that case, they will pick only a very narrow part of the whole tonal quality of the instrument. So
Yeah.
that will shape a lot of things, no? And the length of taxins, probably they were very long. Actually,
Yes.
in that time, the people rhythm of life was much slower than now, no? So
Mhm.
probably also they will enjoy for longer, like a taksim, or a music evening at home, no, with friends,
Mhm.
where things will be much more relaxed. And
Yeah.
then, of course, we have the another limitation, which is the all these noises, no, this
Yes.
noises that are because of the poor technology.
Mhm.
And yes, and it's incredible when you clean. We also mentioned that before in our
Mm.
interview, of
Mm.
of Mike. When you clean, because now we have so many tools that can help us in this direction,
Yeah.
you realize how different it sounds, no? Because because I
Yes.
mean, in our ears, one of my teachers in Turkish music was Omer Doular, the
Yeah.
ney player. I don't know if you have meet him in Istanbul, but he has this little shop next to the Kapalicha, to the big bazaar. And really, every single time I went there, because I don't have his phone number, so I just go there, and probably he will be there, no, and at any time. And every time I go there, like it's always a surprise for him. But he's always listening to these old recordings of
Wow.
the big masters, Yorgos Bajanos, the Greek wood player, or Tanguy Milbey, of his name master. So, and he's really he doesn't even listen, I think, to this noise, no, that maybe for a younger person is too annoying, no, because it's
Yes.
a layer of noise that is not music.
It's a skill. It's a skill, huh?
Yeah. And you have, and some of for me, it's quite challenging sometimes, no, because he's always like inviting me, a friend, listen to this, no. I mean, recordings that he listened to like hundreds of or thousands of times, and we are listening together. And sometimes for me, it's hard not to identify the notes, behind all these layers of noise. But
Yeah.
we are very lucky, that since already, I don't know, 40 years we have, or maybe less, we have the technology of digital technology, which now is super evolved and is very faithful, no, and very. But what is limiting us now is all the way we present this music to the world, no, through the social media or all these platforms. And the limitation is now not technological but social, no. I mean, how you keep the attention of a young man, no,
Yeah.
these days. But I personally, I kind sometimes maybe I'm a bit too romantic, but I prefer to stay in my bubble that I know well. And okay, if somebody wants to join our music, it's fine, it's very welcome. But I really don't want to adapt anymore myself to these very fast rhythms of doing things, no, and also to presenting them. I still do albums in the way I used to do them like 30 years ago, and with the hope that there is still some little community of people that really enjoys the pleasure of pushing the play button of the CD, or it can be of course a streaming platform, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But that have this pleasure, no, that okay, I will sit now to listen to music, which even musicians, only a few of them do anymore, no. But I
Yeah.
mean, the bands the projects I work with are still in this direction of really taking care of the details, and presenting a thing that has this
But the
extra.
good thing is that this community still exists, and to me, I see it expanding actually.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yes.
Maybe it's more how to say, it's kind of hidden, no, because this
Yeah. It's not a
this,
mainstream thing.
yeah.
Like the
But
good books, like the great
exactly.
art, the great. It's
Yeah,
not a
who cares?
mainstream
No, who
thing.
cares? I mean, yeah, but at
Yeah.
least the good thing with this super connectivity that we have today is that we can find they can find us very easily. I mean, if you want to listen to quality, yeah, this kind of music we play is easy to find. I mean, we are not hidden in a cave
Yes.
anymore. I mean, it's there for the
Yeah.
world to enjoy, and yeah.
Yeah. Interesting. Before we go to the next question, Efrén, I would suggest to put the experiment of Oxford Maqam, where they recorded in a cylinder in the recent years before COVID. So people can hear the sound through the gramophone versus the sound through like a modern technology recording.
Yeah,
This might be reflect whatever you were describing
yeah.
actually.
You introduced me you introduced this project to me. I found it very interesting, and also now I will watch it again, and I want to pay attention to the way they play, because this is very important. I mean,
Yes.
because you don't. I mean, as I said before, you need to play in a totally different way. No, I mean,
Exactly.
probably louder with less dynamics and more, more
Yeah.
more fire, so to say, and it's
Mm,
interesting. Yeah.
exactly. And that had an impact on the form of the pieces, how
Yeah,
long,
exactly,
how,
exactly.
as
Yeah,
as you described earlier on the Taksim and so on.
yeah, yeah,
It's really a very interesting thing to think about and
yeah,
really enjoy. Maybe it'll bring stuff to our playing.
absolutely. Yeah.
Interesting. We'll listen to it and we continue.
Vulcan Record, Oxford مقام.
Oh, just lucky, nearly ran out.
Very good.
Nearly ran out of feed, Screw.
Very good. Well timed.
Right, let's have a listen at our first cylinder.
Yay!
Vulcan Record, Oxford مقام.
Efren, talking about the old masters. Now we talked about the records and the old masters because we are not disconnected from this repertoire or all these cultures that we talk about, the Makam cultures. It's a skill to learn how these guys play, what do they express, because it's the same language we will use today to continue expressing as artists and as musicians.
Yeah,
Right. And that connects to the quality of sound again and the expression of sound.
yeah, and they are the biggest inspiration, no? Uh, Now two examples came to my mind. Two players, two oud players that I never had the chance to see live because they pass away. But they are totally different players. I mean, really opposite in many senses. Two oud Ginocenta Ricorur, the oud master. He was also
Yeah.
very accomplished composer and very famous one, and very very educated man, no? And then
Yes.
Hamsaldin, I don't know if I pronounce well his name,
Yeah.
which is also a wood player and singer, but so different. No, I mean that's why I said before that okay, is the same instrument, the oud, but how many approaches, so almost opposite, no? And also in my case personally, I mean, why what I like from these two masters is their unicity, no? Because you really, I mean, they emerge from a given tradition, but they are very innovative. But at the same time, of course, at the same time, I mean, Gianluca Ricordo was a big master. There are actually some videos of him. I don't know if you have watched them. He's giving some Makam lessons in USA in English.
Yes. Yeah. Black and white.
They're yeah, exactly, yeah. Amazing videos. Very very nice to see him in action, no? No, and you know his way of playing. I mean, I remember very well the first time I listened to his playing. There was a festival in my hometown in Valencia in the 80s, and he was invited once to play there. And every year they will release an album like LP, like vinyl.
Yeah.
With a selection of one piece of each artist that play in the festival. And he was there, and they record one. I don't know. I can't remember which piece it was. Maybe it was even a taksim, not a composed piece. But he was also singing. So probably was a charque or you know, a gazelle. And I was, wow, what is this playing? What is this? I mean, this something for me totally new, but very deep at the same time, no? And then after many years, I because I didn't have the cover of the album, I didn't have the information. So after many years, I discovered this is the his playing was so unique that it was impossible to mistake in him, you know. And this is what I really appreciate in art. I think every one of us, and actually the biggest masters are usually people that how to say, you know, you have these average players that can be very good players, but there is always one guy that goes further, no, in some direction. Yeah, exactly. and this is the guy you know, sparks your creativity or your attention. And the same with Hamsaldin. I don't know a lot about his life, but I heard that he was one of the first ones to translate to the oud his tradition, and his playing is so groovy, you know, is all rhythm, very simplistic. I mean, every average oud player I know can play note by note what he's playing, but nobody can play like him at the same time. No? I mean, you can copy what he's playing, and nothing is really hard to play technically, but I mean, you can recognize him in one note, in one bar, and I like this. You know, when now talking about oud, when you play a taksim, for example, and everything is a bit too familiar, sounds too familiar for me. It's a kind of, okay, it's a very correct taksim. I mean, you played what was expected to play, but I think in the nature of this music is also to play with the surprise, no, with the with the yeah, with the unexpected things, because otherwise, okay, a taksim becomes like a fixed composition, no, it's like too obvious. Everything becomes too obvious, no. And this is
Yes.
a skill that only a few masters can achieve, I think, no?
Interesting.
Yeah.
Efren, you once talked to me about uh, the idea of the mastery and what should the musician focus on exactly to be more confident and secure rather than blaming it on the instrument and blaming it on all these criticism to the poor instruments and the poor conditions.
Yeah.
Right. So what is it exactly that a musician should focus on to build his security, to fight the insecurity and be more
Yeah.
confident,
I
more to
wish
the objective?
I wish I know, because because yeah, no,
You
no,
are the doctor.
yeah,
You
no,
are
no,
the doctor.
it's a
You are in the
struggle, really.
studio. You
No,
are
yeah,
in the
yeah.
studio
In the
helping all
studio, yes.
musicians.
No, but the studio and live performance for me are really like two worlds, like two totally different worlds. No, you can be very good in one of them, but not so good in the other, or the opposite. No, and really for me is really, even today is a biggest struggle, no, to be confident, to believe that what you have to say is worth, that you have something to say, no, especially
Yeah.
in our world of today, now that you have access to so many amazing players, that, because what I said before, no, I mean, we live in this culture of everything must be like now, like very flashy, very virtuoso, very fast, no, and you can it can be overwhelming sometimes, no, and
Yeah.
you believe that, wow, everybody plays so amazing, why will no, anybody will listen to me, no, I mean, what I have to say. And I think some ways we can maybe focus on to reinforce our skills in this matter is just to, I always say that in my workshops, no, really to have life experience. Is a bit, it sounds maybe too philosophic, no, because of course, as a musicians, I mean, when we have this gatherings or workshops, or we are just a few days together, and okay, you can pass some information, but you always feel that it's too short, no, because you want to stay more with your teacher, no, with your source of inspiration. But so you can teach some techniques, some scales or exercises, whatever. This is always uh, necessary,
Yeah.
but I think really is important to have things to say, as I said before. I mean, to have likes experiences, and to get inspiration from other sources, which are not music necessarily.
Yes.
Reading, for example, for me is a very interesting way to get inspiration. And yeah,
I
traveling,
mean,
or having nice conversations with interesting people can be also a way for you to find a new way to think about a specific, even musical issue, no, I mean, conversations with musicians is my, I'm addicted to it, no, when I talk to my musician friends. And but also about confidence, really, for me, has been a struggle all my life, no, because you want to give your best, and when you make a little mistake, some, the ability to be focused is so important. So what I will say is to practice to be focused
yes.
in whatever you do in life. And is a matter, I mean, is a hard matter in our days, because, as I said before, again, we have too much stimuli all the time,
Yeah.
and to keep focused is harder than ever before. So to read a book is a very good way, no matter what the book is about, because it makes you being really focused on anything. It can be, washing the dishes, really. It can be cleaning your house or whatever. But to practice to be focused on things. No? So when the day comes that you are on stage, you know already how to be focused in anything. No, and you will face so many problems when you play on a every, as I said before. I mean, if you want to victimize yourself, you have plenty of options. I mean, you can blame the acoustics of the theater, the sound engineer, which is the poor sound engineers get a lot of the poor guys. I'm one of them. That's why I know very well. The instrument, your partners, the other musicians you play with, the audience. I mean, so many things can be wrong and will be wrong. So you have to practice all these kind of things, no? How to deal with things that are not exactly what you will prefer, but you have to deal with them as well, and be relaxed also, no? I mean, to not panic and under any circumstances. This is also very important, no? It happened to me, sometimes when you don't feel comfortable in a concert, you do once this little mistake, and from then on the concert was like this, no? It's like it's a disaster, no? Because you get nervous or anxious for that little mistake you did like 2 songs before, and you start thinking, oh, it's gonna be a disaster, blah, blah, and at the end it's a disaster. So if you are focused on the moment, it will never happen, no? Because you are now here, you are playing, and come on, we are doing something that is really difficult, which is to play music. I mean, imagine how much skill you need. I mean, the motion, the physical thing, but also the inspiration. I mean, it's so complicated, so complex, no? And I remember one workshop also with Ercano Ur, and he was playing something like very, very elegant, very, very beautiful. And suddenly he played one more fast phrase, no, like more flashy. And after that, he stopped. He's also a very philosophical man, no? And he said, really, it's a miracle, no, that we can play this one even one phrase of music is already a miracle. How many things can need to match each other for us to be able to play, no? Or the coordination between all 2 hands. I mean, how many hours you need to achieve that, no? And so imagine if you add all the external factors. So we have to practice a lot, of course. I mean, we need to practice. I mean, perfection comes only with practice, no? With repeat the same time. That's also something that people that are not musicians can't understand sometimes. No? How much we need, how much we love and need the practice, not in the same time. So you don't need to think at all, no? For example, when I speak English, which is not my native language, I need to do much more effort, no, with my brain, no, because it's not natural to me. I'm sure that when you speak Arabic, you are not thinking about grammar or about vocabulary or anything, no, because it comes like this. So we need to reach this level with music, and believe me, I still struggle with it so much, so much.
Don't scare the viewers.
No, but
I know
it's
you know how to act, so don't.
no. And I think it's good that it's there, no, as a sign of, okay, you are alive, no, you are alive, you are.
What I wanted to say is that with practice, the proper practice, it becomes a second nature, like other languages that we get to have as close as possible to the native speakers. And music is not about the mechanical act we do, as you said. Part of the focus, maybe correct me if I am not right, is about the feeling, the expression. It's a language. We understand, we interpret. That's what we need to practice, because at the end, this is what we do on the stage,
Yeah,
what
yeah,
we
yeah.
do in the studio, right?
Yeah, yeah. It's a mixture of all that. No, we need the technique, we need the masses, the physical thing, but
Yeah,
we need also the storytelling. It's like storytelling, no?
yeah,
Because we are telling stories, especially when we improvise. Good improvisers are good storytellers, no? So this skill
yeah.
has to be also. We need to work on that, no? And
And what
yeah,
is the meaning of the composition? Why it was written by that master or that
yeah,
bastakar, or
yeah,
and
yeah,
what are
yeah.
we doing to say it? Isn't
Oh,
it?
yeah, especially when we play, historical music or it's also important
Mm,
for me. I really like to read about music, also about the context
mm,
of, especially being
mm,
a foreigner. I mean, you need
mm,
to know what was the purpose or the context, the social context.
mm.
One Piece. I mean, probably the improvement will be like 0.05%, but still it's worth to do it. No, it
Yeah,
will it will make you feel more connected to what you are playing. Not just seeing everything as notes and written in a paper. I mean,
yeah,
everything matters, and every music has aesthetics. If you are playing Ottoman music, come on, this music is a very specific thing. I mean, it,
mm,
we sometimes we call it Turkish music just to simplify, but come on, was the music of the court, the Ottoman court, that was
mm.
few rooms. I mean, everything
Yeah,
was happening in that physical space, which is less than 1 kilometer square kilometer, you know,
yeah,
and but imagining how life was there, and
mm,
how the culture, that also the different cultures that were giving something to this
mm,
main level that we
mm.
we use now, Ottoman music. It's important to know that some composers were Greeks, some of them were Polish, that were
Armenians,
the
yeah,
Armenians,
yeah,
no, or whatever. I mean,
mm.
I think for maybe for
Arabs,
some, yeah, of course,
Greek, everything,
yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah. For some
mm.
people, maybe it's a bit boring but I really don't find it boring at all, because it's like unveiling, no, important part of the music I love, no, and understanding
Mm.
a lot of things, and why. Then you understand why it's so connected with Byzantine music, for example, no,
Yeah,
and because of course they were some people that were writing in the both styles, in Byzantine, for the church music and Ottoman court music. The same guy, of course,
yeah,
has, or Persian, I don't know. So
mm,
this is also another skill or field that can add.
mm,
We want always to add, no, to add
mm.
to add layers of meaning to the
Yes,
music, no?
interesting. Efren, vocal music and the vocal or the sound of a human, all
Yeah.
connected. And that relates also to the quality of the sound that we discussed from the beginning,
Mhm.
right? We have an imagined sound, which
Mhm.
might be a sound of an instrument. What is the soul? What is the hisar? What is the ouj? Whatever.
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
at the same time, it's the voice of a human, the singer, which
Mhm.
all goes into the same roots,
This
the voice of the human,
Yeah,
right?
when you work with singers,
Hmm.
everything we say till now becomes even more delicate, no?
Yes.
Because I mean, when you have an instrument, you can blame the instrument, but when you are a singer, you can't blame an instrument, no? You can blame maybe
Yes.
other the microphone or the day, or you are a bit sick that day. Of course, because it's a very fragile instrument, no? The voice, and also it gets even more affected by emotions. I mean,
Hmm.
you can have a very bad day as a oud player, for example, or as a percussionist, but still, okay, you have a concert in the night, and okay, a few minutes before the concert, you will try to relax and okay, let's go, let's enjoy the concert and let's give our best. And
Mhm.
you might be able to cheat somehow, and to and to even to cheat even yourself, no, and to say, okay, I'm okay, let's, and even to transform this sadness or these worries you have into beauty, no, with which is actually we do it a lot with music, no. But for a singer it might be really hard to do that, no, because I work a lot work a lot with singers, and again, one very big part of working with singers is the human relationship,
Yes.
no? With them, and to make them feel well, to see what works better with them, and how they react to your indications, and how what are the limits in what you can, for some singers, for example, if you start to give them, if you start giving them indications, they will block, they will collapse, no, because they are not so flexible. So if you ask them, please, do the same but just a bit more, with more bright in your, or a bit softer or whatever, they just block, no, especially like traditional singers that are very used to just go no, and which is fantastic, no, it's really really nice. So you need to learn their language, their personal language, the
Yeah.
code, no, their code, to get the best performance without, make them feel judged, or um, how is it in English?
Influenced, maybe influenced, or
Yeah,
yeah.
or it will come later. Okay. To not be afraid, no, to not be,
Mhm.
and this, I work a lot with women and men, and traditional singers, more like younger ones that, are more, how to say, able to, to travel from, different traditions, and
Mm.
it's always, I really respect them, because they are really, I mean, they are, for the most of the people that will go to your concert, they connect much better, much more with the singer than with any other
Yeah.
musician, no? Because it's the human voice is, of course, transmission, the transmission of feelings is much stronger, much clearer with
Mm.
a human voice that with an instrument. So I
Mhm.
respect them a lot in this sense, because they are kind of alone, no? They are
Mm.
naked in front of the audience somehow, no?
Yeah.
And but of course, to work with them can be challenging sometimes, no, because you need to be really really sensitive to their needs, to
Mhm.
push them, but not too much, because they can break down, no? They can really collapse, no?
Yeah.
So it happened to me many times, and then do
Mm.
you have all the technical issues that, so they can't sing maybe for very long, so you have
Mm.
to prepare very well the repertoire, or just to record, so you do it in 2 or 3 takes, not more, because then you will start to hear, to feel the tiredness on their voice, no, it's important.
Mm. Interesting.
But good singers, I mean, good singers meaning, maybe they are not better than others, but they have this quality of being very aware. Again, for me the key word is the self-awareness, no, of
Mm.
knowing your instrument well, in this in this sense, in this case, sorry, the
Mm.
human voice,
Yeah.
uh, to know yourself very well, no, to know what are your limits, uh, uh, and to have tried many things, to sing with more air, no, like with this, or more
Yeah.
darker voice, what are the keys that work better for you, and to be also sometimes brave enough to explore registers
Yeah.
that you never did before, no, this is something that happens a lot. The very good
Yeah.
singers that sing all their life reveillad, no.
Mm.
And it's perfect. I don't have anything against that, no. But sometimes if you push them little bit to sing from another keys, they might discover some things that are totally new to them, no. And
Yes.
it happens also with this Cabra project that I was talking about. We have this singer
Mm.
Isabel Martin. She's a very good friend of mine and collaborator since many years, and we were singing songs from all the country, and so we have the different languages in different styles, softer and very loud sometimes, and it was for her a very nice journey, you know, to this album, because I mean she had to work really really hard to to be able to show all these different colors in her voice. We have only one singer, but we need to get many different colors, and this is a nice exercise, no, for all singers, I think.
Yeah, is this album published already?
On February 20th of February, yes.
Okay,
In
looking
1 month,
forward to it.
less one month.
Efren, now, do musicians have to envision the sound quality from a singer, or they should just limit themselves to instruments when they play music for a good sound, regardless if it is oud, violin, whatever instrument? Do they have to put in mind the way we sing such music, or do we have to sing it before we play it?
As I said before, with the percussion,
Yes.
in many traditions, it really, for me, if I was the president of Spain, or the president of the world,
Yeah.
it would be mandatory, really, to if you are a musician, you have to learn how to play percussion,
Mhm.
even if you will never use it in your concerts, and also
Yeah.
a little bit of singing. I think is the most of the. I mean, I think every tradition, no. I mean, what we try with our instruments is to get as close as possible to the vocal ornaments, no, which is
Yes.
very very hard, especially for example with oud, with instruments that you don't have this continuous sound. It's very hard, but okay, you have a goal to achieve, no, reference
Yes.
point, no, which is the truth in this music, no, for example, in terms of, because the voice has this endless freedom in the sense of, for example, of ornaments and intervals that we should be able to play on our instruments. And I would say yes, of course. I mean, it's nice to learn how to sing, even if you don't have the best technique or the best color, but to understand, for example, for the intervals in the Macam music, how can you play them on your instrument? Okay, in some of the instruments we have the frets, for example, the Ottoman tambour. We have a lot of frets, so you can play every interval. But still, I mean, there are some inflections of the voice, some
Yes.
glissando, some that you need to understand how they work. No, for example, usually nail players are very good singers. I mean,
Yes.
good players is equal to good singer most of the times. Christos Barbas, that you interviewed also recently, is a good
Yeah.
friend of mine, and we play together a lot. And he's a also very nice, very good singer. So it's a
Yeah.
one example of that. No, otherwise, how can you, because actually with especially with wind instruments, you use a lot your throat, your tongue, no, in the same
Yeah.
way that the singer does, no. So it's very important. But even if you play oud, again, I was talking about two oud players that I really like, Ginocenta Rikorur and Hamsaldin, both very nice singers, and especially Ginocenta Rikorur, the way he plays oud is so influenced, in my opinion, by his voice, by his way of singing, which is his voice of singing, his way of singing is closer to the average than his way to play oud, which is very unique. I mean, his way of singing is more okay. It's also again very particular, but I mean, you can recognize the Ottoman, ornaments, the descending, glissando, and so on. But the way he transferred all this into the oud was very unique, and what made him so unique, no? So it's a living example, no, of what we are talking about. Even if you play oud, there is always a way to get closer to the voice. And of course, if you play a violin and you play an A, even more, no? So
Interesting. Efren, this was really another great interview with you. I really love it. And I think our viewers have seen a lot of things to learn from. We have touched into many things to build a rationale of how much sensitive we should be and what is the point to focus on,
Uh,
right?
I
So
hope I know that we when we start talking, there is nothing that can stop us, and
yeah,
only time sometimes.
yeah.
But I hope it's maybe it's a bit vague, no, because it's very difficult for me to put in words some of these concepts. But I hope
No,
they
you
can.
did actually well. You can act, I tell you can act excellently. So yeah. So what I will do, I would ask you for a last example, a record, whatever you choose from old records or something that you worked on recently,
Mhm.
and I need you to conclude.
You know, I was thinking that maybe we
Yeah,
can play one record I did like 5 or 6 years ago.
yeah.
And it was a kind of experiments I did. I don't know if we played it before in your
No
program,
problem. No
but but
problem. Yeah.
but but this is a song that I wanted to do as an experiment
Mm.
where I play all my instruments at the same time. So at the time it was like I think 7 years ago. It was 137 instruments,
Wow.
including percussions and everything. So, and all them
Mm.
are playing a very simple melody. I wanted to choose a simple melody that all my instruments can play. So there was this friend of mine, who is actually an instrument maker,
Mm.
but and he doesn't play any instrument actually. But sometimes he likes to write very simple melodies,
Yeah.
and because we are very good friend, very close friends, I asked him to the permission to record this. It's a very simple melody, but
Mm.
it needed to be simple and kind of slow to because no the sound is so massive. I mean, it's 137 instruments.
Mm.
uh, but maybe it's a I don't know interesting example, and I learned a lot about by doing this.
Mm.
I was playing the same melody for 1 week non-stop, recording one by one
Yeah.
of the instruments.
Wow.
But I learned a lot because when you mix so many instruments, you can realize which ones come, you know, stand
Mm.
among the others, no. And I learned
Yeah.
a lot of things about mixing and things
Mm.
like that with this.
And that was interweaving like two instruments at the same time or in a sequence?
No, I was recording one by one, but I mean, the idea was to play unison all the time with all the
Okay.
instruments, you know. And
Wow.
okay, so in some parts, some instruments stop, but it's anyway. It sounds like a symphonic orchestra of, of folk. I mean, traditional instruments. But they are all.
This is the Makam canon or fugue by
Yes,
Bach.
yes, 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 yes. It's a
Yeah.
huge sound. It's a very orchestral sound. But it was just
Yeah.
a fun experiment for me to do it like once in your life, no? And it's like equal
Mm.
temperate scale as like minor, because many of the instruments I have frets, no, like equal temperate, so you can't play like these makam intervals. But as an
Mm.
experiment was nice. So maybe we can.
What's the name of this piece?
It's called Ulls Bonics in Catalan, in my mother language,
Yeah.
and it means like beautiful eyes. Very simple.
Wow.
I don't
Wow.
know. I don't know why he put that title, but okay. And,
Mm.
and and at some point I'm playing like improvisation, like a bit free, but maybe with 30 instruments at the same time. It's kind of funny.
We'll listen to it. Efren, one more favor.
Yes.
Please choose something to conclude this beautiful interview with. What do
You
you
mean
like to say?
oh,
Mm.
very
Mm.
difficult.
Like a summary of
Yeah.
what we have said so far.
For those that are interested in this, in going deeper and deeper in the sound, the quality of sound,
Mm.
the beautiful thing is that it's endless, really. I mean, I'm still discovering so many things from instruments and learning from my mistakes, no, doing mistakes all the time,
Mm.
and learning is incredible, because if you like this world, you are very lucky, because you will
Mm.
always be amazed all the time, again and again and again. It's endless, really.
Mm.
And this is the beauty of it, I think. Is never
Yeah.
never will end. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
stop to be crazy about the point that we miss, right?
Exactly.
We
yes.
have to be really focused on what is really making a good music and a good sound, rather than being focused on the wrong point.
Exactly.
Yeah,
But it's not easy. It's not easy. Eh? We have to. Yeah.
yeah. Thank you very much, Efren. We'll
Thanks
meet
to you.
again.